Hi, welcome to JadeKind Gaming. I am Adam, and today I have an unboxing of the Epic PvP Fantasy Expansion 1, which includes the Orc, Dark Elf, Monk, and Barbarian. It's a game by Fun211 and AEG, which I unboxed the full game a bit ago, and I've had fun with it. It's a great sort of fill in some time sort of game. Whether I'm hanging out with friends and some of the guys are late, so we can play a quick game. 15 or so minutes. While we wait for everyone to show up for whatever the big board game, and it can kind of vary each time. But yeah, it's fun, and so this adds some more things to it. So let's open it up and check it out. This is in its small box, though I know the big box for the full game had space for what would be the expansions. I was kind of wondering, I'll find out here. Yes, it looks like this comes with a bit of a rule book, which yeah, that will allow you. Essentially, it comes with a copy of the rules. In addition to introducing what's new in here and what's coming up next, because technically you could do a 1 versus 1 with just what's in here, so it comes with what you need for that. So this is an expansion, but it's also a game in its own right. We get little tokens, which, as we know from the previous, are marking whatever powers, basically. Yeah, this is not nearly as nice of a package to hold things in, but as I said, the full box actually has space where I'll be moving all these into the full box, most likely. It's just a little flimsy cardboard thing to keep them separate, but at least it has that, so you can, even if this is all you have, you can keep each of your decks separate. Anyways, let's take a look. We have two races, the Orc, and of course, if you don't know the game, basically, you get your Orc in your class. Together, they get a speed for who goes first. You have your life, and then they each have powers, like the Orc here. After you take damage, so that's the trigger. After you take damage, if your life card was a basic strike, gain 1 aggression. So if essentially the life card that you lose from taking damage is a basic strike, which is generally the most common, you actually get a benefit from it. The Dark Elf gets an extra thing when you're setting up the game, which is probably 2 of these counters, 2 deceit counters. And after blocking, you may discard a deceit counter and a card from your hand. If you do, put one of your blocked moves in your hand, so you can get a card back that way. Again, Barbarian and Monk are also each going to have their own powers. In addition to that, each card, of course, or each race and class gets its own deck. And the art on these is fun. Like for the classes here, this would be Barbarian. You can tell this image of this shield is on Barbarian, and it's down here. But each of the classes, the face is left just sort of blank. But yeah, you have your basic strikes, and then each of them get their own powers. He gets wolf owl eyes. And yeah, but some of the art is just, it's definitely stylized, but it's very pretty. So yeah, we have Barbarian. Take a quick look at Monk. It's going to be a little, there it is. Little pull tabs to help you open them. Yeah, again, more basic strikes, and obviously all the basic strikes, while some of them are different powers, they all have the same art for the same card. And grapples, Zen of Defense, Tiger Claw, before playing moves, put in play as a permanent, and during the end phase, if a basic strike you played is blocked by a card of the same printed cost, you may put your basic strike into your hand. So it's like sort of a permanent that can let you get things back. The Dark Elf. Basic strikes, taunting blow. Oh, one that does quite a few attacks. Then last but not least, the Orc. Basic strike is the first one. Some rage. Thunderous blow. Reckless charge. Twist the blade. And Skull of Gargle. Which, by the way, most likely Orc here. Female Orc and Dark Elf. Female Dark Elf. They did that on the other ones too. They're the same, but they're just different art used for the cards. But yeah, so really just adding 2 new races, 2 new classes, which when added with the full game, which already has 4 races and 4 classes, it can greatly increase what possibilities of combining stuff. But like I said, these have, there's space in this core box. You know, here's what came in it, and there's all these extra spaces that basically you take your deck and you take the little plaque that is whether it's class race, and it just slides in a spot here, and there's now spot for I think there's enough for this and another the second expansion as well, all to go in this this core box here, which I thought was great. I thought it was kind of weird at first when I saw the box, like that's a lot bigger than I expected. But when I realized it's so you can hold all the expansions, that's a lot of fun. That means sort of this box would be all I would have to take in order to have, you know, a big selection of things to choose from somewhere. So it makes the game less predictable, I guess is the best way of putting it, because people can choose different combinations. But yeah, so that was the expansion 1 for Epic PvP Fantasy. Orc, Dark Elf, Monk, and Barbarian, which I'm sure will just add more variety and bound to be quite fun. And definitely, if you haven't checked out the base game at least, I mean, obviously you could, if these are what sounds like is fun to you, like I said, it includes the rules. You know, where you can either play as a Dark Elf Barbarian against an Orc Monk, or the Dark Elf Monk versus the Orc Barbarian. Either of those combos, you can play with just the expansion because it includes the rules. And that's pretty cool. Just that idea that you can, you know, do that basic thing, you know, a basic game by just getting the expansion, which means the expansions are cheaper. If you just want to try the game first, you can get this, or I think there's a second expansion's already out. So you could just get one of the expansions to try it, and if you like it, then go for the full game. That's another option. But part of the fun is, I think, is really that choosing. What are you going to combine? Am I going to be a Goblin Barbarian? Maybe. Why not? But yeah. So, yeah, check it out. I'll link where you can find that down below. And have a great day. Bye.